Okay, we are back. So, this situation happened a couple months ago. I was sitting in a park, and I was sitting on top of a picnic table on my phone, and this Hawaiian Polynesian native looking gentleman and his son walked up. This was at a park. They do a driver's road test at this park, and this dude walked up and adjusting my mic here. This dude walked up, and so he walked up. He sat on a table next to me while his son went in to inquire about the test, and then just seeing some things. And then after a while, he proceeded to have some opinions, which we'll observe them shortly. But so I started recording towards the end of the interaction, and I wish I would have got, how he looked and the beginning and how everything sort of escalated in order to get the full analysis of a weak, passive fool trying to impose incorrect and errant laws and so-called rules on people for no apparent reason. Give me one sec. All right. Let's get into it. You gonna do what?
You don't sit on a fucking...
Wait, so I asked him, you're gonna do what? So first off, he started saying, that's not how you sit on a table. I'm sitting on the top, and he sat on the bottom, right? And I'm facing the street, and he sat down on a seat, and he's facing behind me. So that's how we're having this interaction. So I'm looking down at him, which is a position he's obviously comfortable with. And he said he said he was gonna do something. I think he said he was gonna snatch me from the top of the table or something like that. And then so I'm asking him, because I wanted for you to hear him say it again when I recorded this. And I don't want it to echo, so I'm gonna mute my mic while I play it. You gonna do what?
You don't sit on a fucking table.
Wow. And then notice, I asked him, you're gonna do what? Again, and then he didn't answer the question. Right? He evaded and said, you don't sit on a table. Right? And then I asked him, why not? And let's hear his answer.
Because we don't do that.
Okay, so he says, because we don't do that. Now, this is a common approach that passive and indirect, weak people will do, because they're trying to get you to appeal to mass opinion. Trying to say that you should respect this group of people, community, when really it's just you. It's just this one individual expressing this belief or philosophy that people shouldn't sit on top of tables. He's speaking indirectly and passively, most likely because he perceived me to be physically more capable than him, meaning I could beat him up in a fight. And then as well, he also knew subconsciously that what he was saying made no sense. Like, why not? Because we don't do that. And again, that's not an accurate reason, and it doesn't make sense because we don't do that.
Because we don't do that.
You keep saying we. Do you mean you?
Me.
Okay, you don't do that. Right. So notice I pointed it out to him because he said this several times during the interaction. Again, this is towards the end of it. He said this several times during the interaction. We don't do that. That's not something we do. Right? Not at any point in time did he take responsibility and accountability and ownership, right? And said, I don't like the fact that you're sitting at the top of this table because according to my beliefs and my culture, it's disrespectful, right? That's all you got to say. Be direct and say what you mean. And that's what I would encourage you all to do, especially if you're a man. It's the manly thing to be direct, authentic, and honest. And mostly express yourself directly. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah.
You mean you?
Me.
Okay, you don't. And it was only when I pointed it out after the sixth time he referred to the plural, trying to speak as a monarch for everyone else, for the community, for the Hawaiian community, right? Saying we don't do that. It was only after that did he take the ownership. Yeah, me. Notice his voice got much watch this though. Notice his voice got much higher. But watch this. Don't do that.
Yeah.
So who are you to tell me how to use a damn table that's not yours?
Because it's disrespectful.
Listen to the tone of his voice and in these two different parts.
Because we don't do that.
You keep saying we. Do you mean you?
Me.
Okay, you don't do that.
Yeah.
Now notice he's like shouting right now.
So who are you to tell me how to use a damn table that's not yours?
Because it's disrespectful.
Now you can notice a severe change in the volume of his voice. Probably because it was a reasonable question, right? This is a public park. There's furnishings all about, right? You don't need directions, right? Because you can essentially, as long as you're not damaging the property, you can sit on it, lay on it, work out on it. It's not something that you would overly concern yourself about. Someone minding their business. I'm not spray painting on the table. I'm not chipping off the wood. I'm not burning it. It's not. And this is something you wouldn't do if you're a masculine man. You wouldn't be overly concerned with unnecessary things. You wouldn't be majoring in the minors, as you would say. And I would encourage you to call out evil and lies and false truths. because people will try to get you to appeal to public authority, public opinion, but that's not actual rule or law in any kind of way. And a lot of individuals in society adopt false doctrine and false beliefs, and then will try to get you to adhere to those upon no apparent reasoning, as we see in this video. And then because of that, they adopted them, right? And they know that, and they're not their own personal beliefs, and they will use this language, we, us, the plural, and not taking ownership and speaking directly as an individual. Because if it was your idea, you would say, no, I don't do that, I don't respect that, and proceed.
You feel disrespected. That doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Those are
Now that was a gem. He should have. I hope he picked that up that day. Just because you feel disrespectful, you feel disrespected, doesn't mean it's disrespectful, right? For some reason, this gentleman felt disrespected because I was sitting on the top of this table in a public park doing my thing, and he chose to sit at the bottom, and for some reason felt like I shouldn't be sitting at the top. But obviously that's my correct position. So
two different things, sir.
You sit on the fucking bench, not
Those
on the
are
fucking table.
those are two different things.
Shit, ass.
It's not just.
so he said I should sit on the he said I should sit on the bench instead of the table, which again is his own, not even his own, but his adopted opinion.
You sit on the fucking bench,
Those
not
disrespected. That doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Those are two different things, sir. It's disrespectful. Those
because it's disrespectful.
you feel disrespected. That doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Those are two different things, sir.
Now, if notice the tone in my voice, right? Like I'm raising my voice, but I'm speaking sternly, and I made it a note to not change my body language in such a way that would indicate violence or that I was ready to get active, right? Because as a foundational Black American, it's important to establish yourself, especially in the public, in a respectful way, especially with the stereotypes we have floating around, right? And really because there was no need, because this was like a nonsensical engagement. Like you're mad, like you're actually upset that I'm sitting at the top of this table. Like like it makes no sense. And then if it was logical to be upset about it, why wouldn't you just explain it? Notice he just scoffed. Let me replay it real quick.
Things, sir.
Why wouldn't you just elaborate? Like, it's disrespectful because I don't like it for the following reasons, A, B, and C. If it was logical and reasonable, such as a man would think, why wouldn't you just explain it? Right? When you're getting kicked out of somewhere they explain to you why. Most of the time, you can never be too careful in the States. But if it was logical, why not just explain it? Right? Why not just break it down? Because I'm obviously sitting there logically um, talking to you and asking you, well, tell me why. And what are you going to do to me? What are you going to do to me, sir? Pause. But what? Why not just explain it? Because you're illogical, irrational, kind of like a female. So I don't respect you. And because I perceive that, and because you perceive that I'm superior to you, right? I see no reason to get violent or physical in any way because I know you don't want to take it there already because I'm looking at you, right? And then when I raised my voice, your voice got lower, as it should. Give me a second. I'm gonna try to fix these settings. I think dropping frames here. Okay, I think we should be Gucci now.
You sit on the fucking bench, not
Those
on the
are
fucking table.
those are two different things. It's not disrespectful because you feel disrespected.
And he started talking to his son. So he was there with his son. Like I said, his son went to go inside and inquire about things. And his son came back out, and then they started talking. But you'll see the conclusion. His son was obviously not on his side.
It's all good.
So you can see right there, I said it's all good, and his son is reaching out to dap dap me up, right? And so his son is obviously not on his side about whatever he was talking about because he knew it was illogical and irrational, and that his dad was basically behaving like a female, complaining about unnecessary things. And I said it's all good because it was. There's no reason to escalate things further. Behaving like a gentleman, a rational man in society, and yeah. So can review it one more. We're gonna go through it one more time. I would encourage everyone to think, use their brain. Don't just adopt rules and policies and doctrines just because someone says it, just because someone tells you, oh, we don't do that. That's not something we do around here. Especially when there's no real cultural or spiritual, moral, or ethical background behind the reasoning. Even logical reasoning, for sure. Like, I'm sitting at the top of a picnic table. Why do you feel disrespected by that? That's strange.
You
You're gonna do what?
You don't sit on a fucking table.
Again, so he avoids the question, you're gonna do what? Right, because he he knew not to get physical, right? And he was even there with his son, right? So if they really wanted to, they could have jumped me. But no, his son ended up dapping me up.
Wow.
Because we don't do that.
We, speaking French, take ownership. If you don't like something, speak up and say it. Be honest. Don't hide your true feelings. You're a man. Worst comes to worst, you should be able to handle yourself in the physical, right? Which he clearly knew he didn't want to do.
You can say
So he was trying to get me to appeal to public authority.
we. You mean you?
Me.
Okay, you don't do that.
Yeah.
So who are you to tell me how to use a damn?
Right. I said, you don't do that. And he said, yeah. So it's something you don't do. So why are you trying to impose that on me? Right? And you'll hear liberal-minded people, right? Loose morals people say, well, don't impose your lifestyle on me. Don't force me to live like you. Don't force me to adopt your doctrine, right? Especially in Hawaii, right? Give us back our sovereignty, right? Under a monarchy, which I would note that not many Hawaiians would want to go back to under total rule, where you would have absolutely no say in, social policies or settings. But anyway, they would espouse these ideas, but at the same time enforce them as well. And you'll come across this in many females too, as a manipulation technique. They'll try to get you to appeal to a reason that it sounds good, but they themselves don't actually abide by. They don't have that actual philosophy. Let people live by their own accord, right? If they did, this video wouldn't be made.
Table that's not yours.
Because it's disrespectful.
And also, let us strive to use our own brain and reasoning and judgment and logical deduction. Use your energy to correct actual evil and wrong.
You feel disrespected. That doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Those are two different things, sir.
You sit on the fucking bench.
Those are two different things.
They say you sit on the bench and not on the table. And I asked him why. Explain it. Tell me why. Because you can't, because it's dumb. And you're not intelligent enough to actually think about these ideas. A lot of people don't know that thinking is actually a skill. Thinking, you have to use the faculties of your mind. Imagination, memory. And many people just haven't learned to do that. And when you think and you take control of the ideas and the thoughts that come into your mind and you capture them and you run them in the laundromat of your mind, and then at the end of the cycle you say, okay, this is good, this part of it is good, this part of it is bad, I'm going to keep this, keep that. That will lead you to greener pastures than adopting public opinion, because common sense is developed by the common people. And this channel we're striving to rise above average, and to think and use your God-given mind, right, to grow to higher developments upon this human evolution, and not be a fat, angry Hawaiian.
It's not disrespectful because you feel disrespected.
And then someone was like, my bad, bro. My bad. I know my dad he dumb. He got some dumb opinions. I know. I'll be at the park and I have to switch seats real quick, because he's gonna say some dumb stuff. Doesn't make sense. Illogical. And a lot of these people who call themselves locals, natives, they have a lot of resentment and discontentment towards people they perceive as visitors, tourists, because they claim their land was quote unquote stolen, which one could argue, by the U.S. government. And they're not happy with that. But at the same time, every Super Bowl, football season, they wear American teams. Last I checked, Hawaii doesn't have a football team. Why are you supporting this evil capitalistic government if that stole your country? I don't. Why are you buying into their consumerism? And you're directing your energy towards people sitting atop tables because you're because you're trying to somehow preserve your culture. This is the same gentleman that, drinks American beer, buy American-made clothing, and probably knows less about actual Hawaiian history than I do. Yeah, I've been to the museum. I've spoken to many people about the history, and a lot of it is distorted by some figures on social media. A lot of history is recounted, in the favor of the victims for some reason. But we can see the true merit of these claims in the effect. 49ers and there's another team that's popular out here. I don't know. I don't watch sports, but you'll see natives, Polynesians, Micronesians, Hawaiians wearing the jerseys. Why? But you're angry at America for doing what? So anyway, that's pretty much the end.
It's all good.
So, and then he leaves, and then he says, you gotta listen real close. He said we should probably call the police on his ass. That's what he said. Because I was sitting on top of a park bench. I might have allegedly partaken in some substances atop the table, recently legalized medicinally. But that's why he said that. And ironically, on an island, aloha vibes, right? Which his son probably does behind his back. He wants to call the police on me because I'm sitting on top of a table minding my business early in the morning. He's going to choose violence. Man, my teeth look yellow right here. But yeah, this is the state of the culture. Not reflective of the whole culture, but just certain lost individuals. A lot of men are lost these days, unfortunately. So, like I said, this channel, Transform with Trainsalot, is about transformation, evolution in thinking, leading to higher choices, right? We're pursuing personal development. First off, educate, empower, and enlighten. We're educating out of limiting beliefs and victimhood. This man was a victim. He had obviously limiting beliefs. Empowering to purpose, right? Purpose. This man obviously didn't have a big enough purpose to keep him from commenting on where I was sitting. And then enlightenment. Enlighten to our true nature as children of God. Limitless potential, powerful beings on this earth. And again, that's what I'm representing as I walk through the earth. And so that's why I made it a point not to get physical or represent myself poorly in this engagement with this gentleman, because I truly believe in this vision and this philosophy, and I would encourage you to adopt a serious philosophy that you would die for and that's worth defending, as you've seen here. So, thanks for viewing. If you don't know, I'm a personal trainer and author. You can get my book in the description. Personal training and meal plans. You can check out the website also in the description. And yeah. There's also going to be a part 2. There was a security guard in the park that... man, demons are everywhere. I'm going to just tell you that. There's going to be a part 2. We're going to analyze that. When you try to strive for higher things, people will inevitably try to bring you down and bring you to their lower level of being and thinking. You know, if I was a weaker, less disciplined, Like, who are you to tell me you're fat? I wish I would have recorded him. You're fat, right? And then your son doesn't even respect you enough to have your back. That shows there's. We're not gonna get into it, but you're fat and your family doesn't even have your back in this situation, right? In your proclamations, in this philosophy, right? And then you couldn't even explain your reasoning. Like, if you're wrong, at least explain it in such a way that could be debatable. But no, he just and then proceeded to insult me. Notice the entire video. I didn't insult him one time. We'll watch it again. You gonna do what?
You don't sit on a
and he made threats.
fucking table.
Why not?
Because we don't do that.
You keep saying we. You mean you?
Me.
Okay, you don't do that.
Yeah.
So who are you to tell me how to use a damn table that's not yours?
Because it's disrespectful.
You feel disrespected. That doesn't mean it's disrespectful. Those are two different things, sir.
Sir, those are two different things.
You sit on the fucking bed.
Those are two different.
See, he making threats. Again, this is towards the end. He's making threats, cursing, making ethical proclamations.
Things. It's not disrespectful because you feel disrespected.
See, he's making threats, cursing, and hurling insults. Triple whammy. And I'm being respectful, inquisitive. Tell me why, sir. And then I let him know. You're speaking very indirectly, passively, and I don't respect that as a man, sir. And this, he's effeminate because he's insulting, cursing, and making threats. But then you're still sitting down. I'm still looking down on you. And you didn't notice I started recording. So your low competence, intelligence, and you don't have the physical prowess which you perceived. So you do have some level of instinctual perception, but we're animals at the end of the day. Primal creatures. So subconsciously he knew that, all he could do was lip service. And like I said, as a man, I would encourage you to be of action, right? Don't threaten me. Stand up. Body language. That's how I knew he wasn't a respectable, honorable man. But I still addressed him as such. Because when you address lies and fear calmly with the truth, it will flee. You can dispel evil by keeping your peace. I didn't curse at him. I didn't insult him one time. I didn't stand up. I didn't jerk my limbs in any way.
It's all good.
Yeah, and they went about their day. So yeah, that is the story time. Very angry Hawaiians. And if you have anger in your heart and you're a man, you're a weak man. If you can't maintain your peace. Now, I could have, and I felt the impulse naturally to lose my temper. And I could have easily just let it go, right? But I chose to maintain composure and treat this man with tact and show him a different character than he might have been expecting. And when you can do that, you can control the situation. Notice I was asking him questions very calmly. And then I turned it up. And you notice once I got turned up, his volume turned down. Right? And so if you're able to manipulate your emotional psychology to a place where you can turn it on and off, you will be a powerful man and also a powerful human being. If you can manipulate your mental and emotional energy in such a way that you can lose your temper if you want to. Well, I guess you can put your temper on a leash, and not be forced to, like this gentleman was. So, give you some time to send in any comments or questions, thoughts before we end this session. Again, you can get Transformation Through Fitness on Amazon in ebook, paperback. I narrated the audiobook myself. Like I said, there will be a part 2. The security guard tried to somewhat escalate things unnecessarily. And this is going to tie into the lesson of analyzing manhood and authority. Because if a real man, you would question authority. A real man seeks to rebel and seek freedom from and liberation from the shackles of authority. That's why if you're really high testosterone, you want to dominate. You want to have ownership. You want to have your own merchandise and clothing. You want to have your own. I want mine. Like, sometimes people offer me like real good food, but it's only half of it, and I'll say no because I want a full thing of my own. But yeah, you want your own. You want to take ownership. And we seek to liberate ourselves from other people's rules and livelihood and create our own culture. Because the security guards tried to press me, and it didn't work out. Now I sat there, I finished doing what I was doing, and then I went about my day without worry of any projected consequence. Because when you stand in truth, you know that there's nothing evil can do, because it's all fake. They try to instill this fear in you. We don't do that. As if we don't do that. As if there's 20 people that's going to come out like, yeah, get off that table, buddy. Fear of the public. And when you adopt a strong enough doctrine and philosophy, you're willing to stand against the many. You're willing to stand against the common folk to instill and imprint your footprint upon the earth. When it's strong, we have strong values and a strong purpose and a strong vision. What the majority thinks or says doesn't mean anything. And that's why I talk about purpose. I talk about mission. I talk about focus and discipline. And all these things you learn through exercise and fitness and going on a diet and imposing discipline upon yourself in order to achieve a higher goal. Because if you don't have a higher goal, you're going to be lost. You're going to be adopting views and opinions that really don't mean anything. And not only that, you're going to succumb to public opinion. You're going to succumb to FOMO. You're not going to want to sacrifice your weekends to work and make social media calendars and business plans and plan content and order samples of clothing and design the clothing. You're not going to want to do that, because the alternative is just too juicy. It's just too good. Drinking, girls, substances, music, the allure of the nightlife, the dream of consumerism that a bunch of people have been sold and bought and still reinvest and got stocks in. If you don't have a strong enough goal, you're going to succumb to all of that, because it's being constantly shoved in your face. And if you're not looking at the goal every day, how are you going to outweigh these corporations advertising to you? You watch one YouTube video, you see a number of ads, but you haven't looked at your goal one time. How does that work? My eyes is low. I'm it's late. It's type of late out here. But yeah, I talk about vision, mission, because that's what matters. That's what is gonna last. Legacy. Now, in the grand spectrum of things, it doesn't really matter. Not to be a defeatist, but even everyone will be forgotten at some point. And that's why you have to inspire yourself and say, I want to do this, I want to do these things, I want to accomplish these goals for me. Not for anyone else, but primarily for me. And that's why a lot of people think being selfish is a negative thing, but deep down, if we're honest, we're all deeply selfish, and that's the only reason why we do anything. But the goal is to reach a place where you get nourishment from serving others with a purpose, right? I know my purpose is in the realm of physical training, because that's a subject I'm competent in, not only in study but in application. And I can teach and explain things in a way that's comprehensible and break down more nuanced subjects within fitness and anatomy and kinesiology, and how muscles and blood and air work to build and or lose fat. And I've a gift in doing that, and I can transmute that in a way where it can help somebody. So where, because really we're always paying for someone else's knowledge or expertise, participating in the free market, right? You go to the doctor, you pay that heavy bill because he went to school for all those years. Same thing with a personal trainer. It's usually lucrative and expensive because not only the certification is expensive, but the study is long. Recertification, you have to study throughout years. You're not just one and done. If this is a real thing for you. But yeah, you foot the bill for experience and knowledge and expertise that you yourself are not willing to retrieve. And that's okay. Because once you know your purpose, you know, okay, I don't really care to dedicate the time to learn about this specific thing or niche, because it's just not, doesn't fulfill me. It doesn't give me proper ROI, right? When you know yourself, you know what not to do. Or I should say, you know what you shouldn't do, right? And so when you know your purpose, you know how you can serve someone else. And it just so happens that we exchange money for that expertise. And again, the amount of money is equal to the quality of service, but also the impact of the service. Personal training, people getting fit, losing weight, it changes lives, and it changes lifestyles. I truly believe it's the fountain of youth. Exercise is the fountain of youth. And so, yes, a more experienced trainer is going to cost you an arm and a leg. Absolutely. You're going to have to come out of pocket. But that's because the impact it has on your life is irreplaceable. It's intangible. And the knowledge that you gain on how to eat and the information you learn about food that you're not taught in school. You're not taught how to exercise properly, warm up properly, cool down properly. And if you are, you don't maintain that throughout the years through school curricula, right? You don't keep that. And so you pay for me doing that, right? Just like I would pay a video editor because it's not worth my time to spend an hour clipping and adding all these things in recent times, right? So, and then I can focus on other things. So when you know yourself, you don't waste time having FOMO and adopting all these weird policies like this gentleman had. Boy was bugging. But yes, story time and education, manhood and authority. Real men liberate themselves from authority by becoming their own boss. Just think, that's what it's all about. Not what it's all about, but you're not going to be happy without it. You're not going to be happy living subject to someone else. I'm telling these Hawaiians that. They think they want to go back to a monarchy. Oh, no you don't. No sirree Bob. Right? Well, it's been a pleasure having this session with you. Again, transform with Trainsalot, educate, empower, and enlighten. See you next time.